I think transformation is impossible without finance. And we see that for the food economy right across the continent, this is the biggest private sector activity that exists. And just the sheer volume of the business that Mr. Falandi talked about gives you what potential agriculture holds for change and development and for transformation, for employment, etc., right across the continent. That said, access to finance, agriculture is a sector which is the least funded. There's a huge financing gap. And this is because there's very little understanding of the risk environment involved in investing. It's seen as a risky business because value chains have become global and concentrated in a few hands. You see, in fact, a mass exodus of young men going to urban centers to seek employment, and a feminization, in fact, of agriculture across the continent, which shouldn't happen. But it's simply because the opportunities to access finance are not there, and the cost of capital is tremendous. Apparently, to access finance on the African continent is 3 or 4 times more expensive than in Asia or any of the other continents around the world. So how can we change that dynamic? As governments try to bridge the SDG financing gap, and right now we understand we need something like 1.3, 1.4 trillion annually to be spent in order to actually bring about that transformation. We need to crowd in these resources. And we know public sources are not sufficient. We have global partners, we have philanthropy. We in Africa are not able to use remittances in a clever way. Remittances being sent by the diaspora is actually much more than aid flows today. How can we create financing structures that are going to be able to crowd that in those remittances and enable investment where it's needed?